Eu, como entidade militante também da Umbanda, sou o que sou, autêntico.
É necessário fazer uma conexão com o lado espiritual. Então, nesse nível, já se tem uma noção de algo divino.
O trabalho é muito delicado, é como um socorrista trabalhando com uma ambulância.
Um sentido de liberdade e esperança passado pelos mais sábios mestres espirituais.
Porque é só assim que nós podemos evoluir. A autenticidade, ninguém evolui na mentira, na falsidade, ou coisas assim.
Uma conexão ligada ao espírito, ao praticar e transmitir ensinamentos.
Tem que viver a espiritualidade. E quando você deixa que a espiritualidade venha fazer o que ela tem que fazer, você sai sadio. Quando você interfere para aqui, seja o seu manifesto, sua vontade, muitas coisas lá na frente vai ser trabalho.
Um diálogo dentro dos mais variados temas.
Mas todo homem passa por esses caminhos. E só assim, quando você passa, você consegue entender e dar importância para os outros que são positivos. Mas não o negativo, como vocês pensam, é pecado, isso é negativo.
E aí eu vou dizer para vocês, meus filhos que estão me escutando, quando vocês estão com um problema, se vocês olharem só para o problema, vocês não vão entender o que o tempo está querendo mostrar.
Diálogo com os Espíritos. Produção, Jefferson Viscardi. Edição, Marcelo Moreno. Mensagem de Exu. Muita gente, quando não acha cura para sua dor de barriga, corre pro terreiro, me pedem ajuda e ajuda eu dou. Quando a dor de barriga passa, me chamam de diabo e meu médium de macumbeiro. Mármore, preparado para resgatá-lo, assim se for merecido, mesmo diante dos seus preconceitos sobre mim. Enfrentarei os piores dos homens para te salvar. Assim como em outrora. E mesmo que os olhos dos malfazejos o envolva, minha energia será condensada pelas mãos divinas.
Well, hello everyone. This is Jefferson. Today we are on our dialogue with the spirits number 100, and we have a special dialogue for you all. I hope you will enjoy as much as I'm sure I will. So Sean, how are you doing today?
Oh, very well. Thank you. Yes, here we are, July 10th, 2013. I'm in Maui, Hawaii, and you're up there in Piracicaba in Brazil. Brazil.
That's it. You've got it.
All right.
São Paulo, Piracicaba.
That's it.
Right.
Coming to you live via satellite, Skype, on the internet.
Awesome. Yes. And today we are going to speak to ISHUWA.
Yes, ISHUWA of the Yahyel civilization.
Great. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll step aside and allow ISHUWA to come through in a channeled state, and it'll take me a minute or so before I'm fully stepped aside and ISHUWA's come through. So there'll be some silence and while I make that adjustment for you.
All right, thank you.
And the Yahyel civilization, quite possibly maybe the first of our extraterrestrial family to come and visit us here on Earth in an open public contact and meet us heart to heart, face to face, eye to eye, in a very loving, peaceful way. So this is a very exciting time on Earth, and so this is the ISHUWA of the Yahyel civilization. Again, they may be the first extraterrestrials from our galactic family to come here on Earth and meet us all in public someday soon. So I'll step aside and bring ISHUWA through and have fun. Have fun, Jefferson. I'll talk to you when we're over.
All right. That's going to be fun. Thank you.
I guess we'll go for about an hour from now. Okay?
Right.
You got it?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well then. I'll talk to you when I get back.
All right.
Lovely to be here with you in these blending moments together in this day of your time. Once again, how are you?
It's lovely to speak to you again, ISHUWA.
Yes, delightful once again to have this opportunity to share with you another version of our world with another version of your world. And in this way we can explore and experience more of the infinite, that we are more of the unconditional love that is our actual nature. And with that in mind, what way would you most enjoy moving forward together in this day of our time?
ISHUWA, we are aware that there are many spirits helping the planet in this moment of transition. Now, how is it that your society is then in that way helping us out at this time?
We have the opportunity, delightfully so, to be a part of the awakening of your civilization's awareness that you are all actually unconditionally loving beings, and that you are part of a galactic family, that you are part of an infinite universe in which there are a multitude, an unlimited number of life forms, intelligent, wise, loving life forms, and that we are of your family most immediate, in the sense that you have shared your genetic DNA with us, and that our biology then contains your DNA, as well as a few other extraterrestrial civilizations. But the idea is we are at great joy to have the opportunity to remind you, in a sense, as your society on a superconscious level agrees, in that sense, to have us come back and remind you of your actual infinite, unconditionally loving nature, to remind your civilization that there are life forms beyond planet Earth. There are very unconditionally loving life forms, such as the Yahyel civilization that I ISHUWA am from. And of course there are other civilizations of human beings like us, other forms of human beings in your galactic family that are also, in a sense, just out of view from your awareness, in a sense, in a slightly different vibratory reality, a slightly different channel that your society hasn't yet completely learned how to fully tune into, in a sense, with your visual television sets. Can't quite tune into them, in a sense, on your radios, to see us all, to see that we are real, physical human beings, very similar in appearance to you there on your Earth planet. And that shouldn't be a surprise, for we have your DNA, and in that sense, we have the opportunity in physical form to have appearance quite similar to you. In that idea, we come in different sizes and shapes and colors, yes, as you and your world do as well. But understand then, we are of a very deep connection to the awareness that we are a part of the infinite, that we are unconditional love, and that then is something that you and your world have chosen to be, in a sense, exploring in a different way, to explore instead on your world the idea of being separate in that idea. So that for us, we have opportunity to remind you, you are not actually separate from the creator of the infinite. You are part of the infinite. You are all the infinite, simply choosing to express yourself in a human body seemingly as a part of the infinite. But you are the infinite, and it brings us great joy and delight again to be able to take part in awakening you and your civilization at a speed that is appropriate for you, at a level and a timing that you accept, that you agree to, that you are open and excited about, certainly on a superconscious level, but also on a conscious level too. And this then is part of why we, the Yahyel civilization and some other civilizations of humanity, your galactic human family, are at this timing very interactive with your civilization to remind you, to awaken you of more of your actual nature. Does that give you a little bit of an answer to work with for your question at this timing?
It sure does. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Delight to be able to share that with you.
So you said you are very interactive with us
Yes.
at this timing. How?
We have, for instance, as an example, large spacecraft that appear in your skies over cities, over countrysides, over oceans, over ships as well, at various timings, to show in that sense that there is other extraterrestrial life, to get your people on Earth to see us, that you can consider that object up in space, up in the sky at night, those lights that are moving around in ways that your airplanes are not able to do. It begins to give you the idea that yes, there are other life forms. And this then is part of a visual contact program, part of awakening your awareness to the reality that we are real, that we exist, that we are here. This then is, in a sense, something we are doing in this way as a form of reconnecting you to the understanding that there are life forms. And so, spacecraft visualization sightings at night is something, this is one of the ways of awakening you to this understanding that there are other life forms, very loving, wise, intelligent human life forms beyond planet Earth. And another way then, of course, is in dream states. Another way then is, over time, not only our civilization, but other civilizations have in a sense, made contact with individuals on your planet who have agreed in a sense, superconscious level of their beingness, and to meet with us, to share, in that sense, biological DNA with us, so we could, in that sense, be who we are today. In that sense, there are those who are, in a sense, our biological creators, who were able to communicate with those on your world, certain individuals, again, who agreed to share their DNA, that then they, our creators, crafted us, in a sense, in a way that you are then part of our Yahyel civilization genetic DNA, part of my biology. And that then is something we have contact with you in this way, in the sense that there are occasional times where some of you will come aboard our craft. We, again, are not the only civilization that do this. There are a variety of civilizations that do this for various reasons. So we do this, and those interactions that you have with us are the ones that will be very enjoyable for you. They will not be frightening. They will not be painful. There are then often those of you who had these interactions with us aboard our spacecraft don't remember. Part of the reason you don't remember is that it wouldn't suit you well back in your Earth day-to-day reality to have that memory and to not be able to share it with anybody in a way that they would really be open to it, to accept what you were saying, to believe you. More often they would think you were a little bit crazy if you were to talk about such an experience aboard our spacecraft. But even there are another reason usually you don't remember, and that is the experience itself is on another vibratory frequency, in a sense another dimensional channel that is different sufficiently from that when you are in your physical Earth day-to-day life, that the frequencies don't match. And so the memory can't be contained in your awareness, in your physical Earth day-to-day experience. It is the interaction with us on our spacecraft of such a different frequency. It just simply is not available to your Earth human experience. So often that is another reason those of you who have been aboard our spacecraft don't remember being aboard our spacecraft. The experiences of it is of too different a frequency, too different a dimensionality. The channel is not the same. So there then, of course, are interactions we have with you in dream states. In a sense, this is more like a telepathic communication. And that then you are more likely to remember that when you awake, in a sense, to have had a dream of having some contact. At times, it will, for you, be a memory, a dream of extraterrestrials. But other times, the way your mind functions, you will substitute your interaction with us in a way that when you're remembering the dream, going over it, you will substitute your contact and who we are with other, in a sense, symbolic forms that are more comforting to you from a psychological standpoint. But in doing that, you don't fully understand what it was that occurred in the interaction in the dream state with us. But that is something in time, it will become more clear for you. And as it does, that is then an indication that your vibration is becoming closer to ours. So, as more of you begin to remember the dreams more fully, really seeing what took place in your interaction with us in the dream state, that lets us know that your frequency is closer to ours, and as it becomes close enough, we will be able to meet you there in the physical form upon your planet, again, in peaceful, open, heartfelt contact. That then provides us with another way of contacting with you, in a sense, providing you with more understanding that we exist. The contacts in the dream state, the telepathic contacts in your dream state, and as well as the onboard interactions, and also the visual sightings, usually at night, over your cities and over your countryside and over your seascapes, above ships in that sense. So those are three ways that we have of interacting with you. Does that answer your question?
It sure does. Thanks.
Yay, certainly. Joy.
So basically what you're doing, you are taking some planned steps in order for us to acclimate our energy in order for us to meet physically.
That is, in a sense, yes.
Right. You said
Raising your
more.
vibration so it will match with ours. Raising your thoughts, your belief systems have to be altered in a sense to your own choosing to open up more to understandings and definitions of existence that are more in alignment with your actual nature. And with when you let go of the old beliefs that are discordant to your actual nature and too discordant to our awareness of existence for us to be able to match you sufficiently enough to be able to meet you physically, when you begin letting go of those old, outdated, discordant frequencies and belief systems and replace them with updated beliefs that are more in resonance with your actual infinite nature, and that is something that occurs in these ways that we are referring, these three types of contact we just mentioned, that then raises your vibration, raises your definitions, your perspective, your understanding of reality in a way that is more in alignment with the actual nature of unconditional love, the infinite. You are more a resonant match to the actual nature of existence itself, and that places you more in resonance with us, for we grow up in a society in which we know who we are, we understand we are part of the infinite, we create our experience in each moment. We, in that sense, are the creator, expressing ourselves as individual creators, as though we are a part of the one whole creator, the infinite that is all that is, and that we know this, our frequency is at quite a different rate of vibration, a dimensionality than yours has been, because you have been choosing to explore the ideas of limitation beliefs and frequency. So, again, as you let go of the limited beliefs and replace them with beliefs that we simply grow up with, the ideas that we know we are part of the infinite, we are all that is, unconditional love is our actual nature. And as you replace the old beliefs with that understanding, you begin to be a resonant match with us. And then we can be in relationship physically, in that sense, face to face, heart to heart, in the same room, so to speak, outdoor in the room of the heavens, of your planetary spaciousness.
Wow. So basically right now, you are an embodiment just like I am.
Yes, a human form, very similar. Yet again, the idea, my frequency of mental component is very much tuned to the understanding of the infinite, of my actual nature, more in resonance with unconditional love. And that does not mean that I or our world is better than yours. Simply it is a different choice. There is no choice from the perspective of the infinite that is actually better or worse or less or greater or more holy than any other choice, because they all exist. And in that they exist, they all share the same one quality of existence, which is that they exist. And anything that exists cannot be greater or lesser, more or less holy or evil than anything else that exists, for it is simply existence, and existence cannot be more or less than itself, more holy or more evil than itself, more right or wrong than itself, from the perspective of the actual nature of existence itself. And we understand this. That's a choice we've made to understand this. Your world has chosen not to understand that as a collective society. Again, to choose that isn't any better or worse than our choice. It simply is a choice. They're both equal from the perspective of existence. But in that you have made that choice, because what you put out is what you get back, third law of creation, because you've chosen to believe you are separate, you get back experiences that reflect the choice that you are putting out around that idea of being separate. You put out that you are separate, and you get back experiences of being separate. Again, third law of creation, what you put out is what you get back. First law, you exist. Second law, the one is the all of the one. And fourth law, change is the only constant. Everything changes except those first three laws. They never change. Does that give you more clarification?
It sure does, sir.
Thank you.
So basically, okay, so if I were to see you today here on my planet,
yes,
would I realize you are not from here?
You might not. From a visual perspective, I would appear very much like an earth human. Well, there might be a few subtle differences in that sense. Larger skull, head in a sense, shaped a little differently, and the eyes a little bit larger, and that would be something that you might think was simply something that occurred genetically, in a sense of my parental upbringing, and then not necessarily define me as being from another planet. But again, you might be recognizing that is sufficient enough to suggest I am from another planet, but it is again not necessarily the case. The idea of my mental and emotional vibratory frequency, my heartfelt understanding of the infinite is of such a different vibration, that would perhaps seem to you the most different. That would be what would feel to you to be the most different in that sense. And it would be a frequency that would, in a sense, be catalyzing, like a catalyst activating within you of understanding more of your actual nature, which would bring to the surface any beliefs that are not in alignment with your actual nature, which might be a little unsettling for you at first. That having discordant beliefs, being enlightened, being exposed in the moment of presence with a vibration of someone such as myself, whose vibration is very in tune with the actual nature of existence. That does not allow for discordant beliefs, beliefs based in limitation, to exist in my frequency of being, simply because the vibration of my consciousness sheds light on that which is, in a sense, in darkness. And sometimes that which has been in the dark for so long can be put off a bit when suddenly a bright light shines upon it, as if you've been in a room with all the lights off and suddenly someone turns the lights on. It can take a few moments before your eyes adjust, and you might initially cover your eyes from the brightness. In that sense, it can be the same. My consciousness can be so in tune with the actual nature of existence that those on your planet who have for so long been with beliefs based in limitation and separation, in a sense, in a dark space of beliefs, it would be then like this, from a perspective of how they experience each moment. When someone of a vibration of light, of understanding, is turned on in the presence of their being. Do you follow that idea?
I love when you speak with our hands. I mean, that's just amazing.
Thank you. Yes. Interesting, aren't they? A little bit different than my hands, than these I see, I suppose, that you see as well.
Yes, yes. Very interesting. So, do you have, what is your eye coloration and hair coloration, for instance?
My hair is a brilliant blonde, very bright blonde quality, and my hair tends to be, at this timing, a little bit longer than last I spoke, when that perhaps was over 3 of your years ago. In that sense, I have some hair lengthening in that sense. It has grown. And that is something then over time. There are a variety of us who have had various lengths of hair, and that my eyes tend to be of a blue, radiant quality in that sense, with a little subtle bit of a green at this time. That is something that does change a little bit as well over time. Has a little bit to do with the frequency of my understanding, of my experiencings, as well as the locations, geologically, geographically, spatially, planetarily, that I have been spending more of my time in. Those are factors and vibrations that can alter the colorations in my eyes to some degree. I believe, my experience, that Earth humans, such as yourself, often the eye coloration doesn't change as dramatically.
Yes.
Over a lifetime, but it is something that our biology is at a higher, more flexible frequency, more changeable frequency. In that sense, coloration for me and others can change somewhat. And again, the hair is primarily of a blonde quality, but it is of a longer than last we spoke. And understand in our civilization there has been introduction more of those with more DNA from your world, and that then they have tendency to have more variation biologically. Their body can be of various shapes, colors, sizes. Their skin color varies as well. Their hair color and length can vary as well. In that sense, more so than when we last spoke. For the DNA mixture is a little bit stronger of Earth human in our more recent birthings of Yahyel civilization.
Wow.
Even that our Yahyel civilization has created with your Earth human civilization a whole new hybrid child called the Yahuane. That's Yahuane. Yahuane are then a very new hybrid civilization. We are hybrid children in the sense of yours and other extraterrestrial civilizations that contributed to the DNA of our biology. But to understand then, the Yahuane, their DNA is more of a mixture of ours and yours. You Earth humans have a mixture of extraterrestrial DNA in your biology as well. So, with your DNA mixture and our DNA mixture, the Yahuane have a vast more DNA mix, even so, than you and your world tend to have, and I and those in my world tend to have. But the idea is there are in our Yahyel civilization as well those of Yahyel who have more variations in their physical appearance than we had even a few short years ago in time of contact upon your framework of past, present, and future. For our timelines are somewhat different than yours.
We tend to live to be 80 years old on average. How about your race?
That varies.
Old? Yeah.
That varies. We have some that can live approximately what you might think of as a couple hundred of your years in that timeline. We have the openness to transfer from our physical body into the other lifetime that comes after our current embodiment, for we know this affords us the opportunity to incarnate in a new body, in a new civilization, maybe the same, but perhaps even on a different planet, in a different civilization, to have new experiences. So the idea then of trying to remain eternally in one lifetime isn't something we hold on to. The fear that we're going to die isn't something that we have. We understand that when we die, we will move into a new realm. Can be physical, but it will be an enjoyable experience. Just in a sense, if you will, as an analogy, you read a book, it has a chapter, it has 2 chapters, 3 chapters, maybe the book has 10 chapters. So each chapter can be like a lifetime in a given civilization, and then thus when we die in our current body, that would be like the end of the first chapter. If we incarnate into then a new lifetime on that same planet, in that same civilization, that would be like the beginning of chapter 2. And then in a sense, if we had a book with 10 chapters in the analogy, we would perhaps have 10 different incarnations in the same civilization. Could be it could be something that occurs and transpires over 1,000 years or more in that sense, in the terms of your timeline on Earth, that this takes place, having 10 different lifetimes, 10 different chapters on the same civilization. And then, perhaps in the 11th lifetime, we incarnate in a whole new civilization, an entirely different region of your Milky Way galaxy, possibly even another galaxy altogether, perhaps the Andromeda galaxy. The idea then, that would be the end of that book. And then there's the opportunity to start a whole new book in terms of the analogy and how we're talking about life and death, living a life in one body, one incarnation, and then rebirthing, reincarnating into another lifetime, into another body. This is something that is very understood, and we embrace it. We enjoy having the opportunity to move from one chapter to the next, from one book to the next. It provides for more opportunity of variety, of experience in that way. And we find it to be most delightful. Yes, do you understand that idea?
Sure. So basically, the current society where you are embodied now lives up to 200 or 300 years.
There are some, yes, in that way. Some will choose to transpire at a earlier age. So understand, this isn't in that sense something that we are all rigidly contained within that idea of 200 or 300 years. Primarily, an average, there is at this timing 200 years. And again, that is something that can change. It isn't something that is fixed in the way you have experienced the average lifetime upon your planet. It is not as rigid as you may think that idea has to be.
Right. Understood. Now, does that mean that once we meet you, we are going to have about that average lifespan?
That then does not necessarily apply to Earth human lifespan, just from having met us. No, there are many other factors that will come into place. More of your collective society's choosing than that of contact with us. But contact with us will then have an effect on how you as a society define the idea of an average lifespan upon Earth. But then what you choose and how you choose to define or redefine the average lifespan will be something you as a collective choose.
I see. So, and how old are you right now?
I am approximately 34 of your, you would think of it, Earth years.
Hey, great.
And
about
approximately one of your years, I may not be 35, from the context of, if you were to speak to me 1 year from now, I may be connecting and communicating to you from a different age, a different timeline. Whatever timeline would be most appropriate for our communication, our interaction, would then determine what age I would be at in that communication at that timing. It may be 35 1 year from now if we were to do this again in 1 year, but it may be 30, it may be 20, it may be 130.
What makes you choose a particular timeline instead of another?
It is something that is in a sense chosen by the circumstances of the interaction, of the event, of the timing, of the consciousnesses of those in the interaction itself. What would be most appropriate on a higher level is understood, and in that understanding, which then age would be most beneficial for the interaction, the communication that will take place, that would be most appropriate to take place, it is in a sense automatically chosen. It is part of the omniscient infinite universe's knowingness of which and what age to draw from, to connect to in that sense. In that context, understand, it isn't as if I am thinking before I meet you, what age should I be communicating to you from? I don't have to do that. That is more mental, I would define, more analytical perhaps. It is something that occurs more from a simple heart connection, from the omniscient, resonant knowingness of the infinite, what would be most appropriate in that timing, most conducive to having the most informative transference of communication to take place. And understand that age that I come to you from can change even in this communication. If it seems that the information would be more beneficial for me to come at it from a different age, a different timeline, perhaps on that other timeline I am more connected to a frequency of information that would be more useful for you, more at a informational, vibrational, heartfelt frequency rate, then I will make the shift. Again, it will occur almost automatically. there will be a slight moment where I understand it is occurring, but I know why it is occurring, so I do not hold back, I do not block, I do not hinder the transference, the adjustment, the change. It occurs very quickly. Thus then, perhaps you listening would not even notice if in this answer itself I have changed from the age I gave you to another and back again.
It seems that your physical reality is more, in that sense, malleable than ours.
It is, because our understanding of the existence is more in alignment with the actual nature of existence, which is infinitely flexible in that sense. When you are experiencing the infinite from that frequency, when you are tuned into that frequency, the knowingness that it is of infinite flexibility allows you to then thus tune in and experience it from that level. Again, your civilization has chosen to explore the ideas of limitation and separation to such a degree that you have beliefs that have to be very rigid, very fixed, not as flexible, in order to maintain the perception, the illusion of separation, the illusion that you are the only life form of intelligence in all existence. Because you see, if you're more tuned into the flexibility of definitions that are in alignment with the actual nature of existence, you could say you are limited, you could say you are the only life forms, but then instantly another belief, another understanding, another reality would come in that would remind you, inform you, reveal to you, show you, tune you into a reality in which you are obviously interacting with life forms from other planets. And thus then the idea of being separate and the only life form would be instantly washed away. Instantly. And thus then you would simply, oh, okay, well, I guess I am part of the infinite. So the idea to have the illusion of being separate and limited, you can't access these vast, unlimited flexibility of the actual nature of existence. So that is something we and you, understanding you want to let go of and be more able to connect to more of the infinite, more flexible definition components within your awareness as an individual and as a whole society. And in that reality, when you as a whole collective society are at that place, you will find the idea of ages to be more flexible, and it will be easier for you to get younger, to find, in a sense, the fountain of youth, to recognize you are the fountain and you can focus on the age you most prefer, and in that way the fountain of youth flows through you from your own choosing of what time, what age to tune into and experience. In that way you become the magic waters. Your ability to define yourself in this way, more in alignment with the actual nature of existence, is, in that sense, the magic, the mystical waters that then flow through you, transform you into a dimensional frequency in which you can truly focus in, feel, and be that young one again. Be the youth from which the fountain of the infinite flows from. Yes, thank you.
Right, but when it comes to the physical, say you are 34 now and you tune into the frequency of 15. That doesn't mean your body will change as well, right? It's just your thought pattern and the way you interpret reality.
The body can adjust in the sense that I tune into the dimension where the 15-year-old me exists in that way.
I see. Then you...
It would be, in a sense, as an analogy, like changing your channel or your TV from the golf channel to the football channel. They both exist simultaneously. You just change the channel of the one you are tuned into. I at 34 and I at 15 exist. Two channels. Right now I am simply choosing to tune into the channel that's 32 and 34. That's showing the golf. And I can simply change the channel and tune into the one in which I am a physical embodiment of 15, in a sense, the football channel.
I see. So are you aware that once you get to be here with us on Earth, you will have to have the discipline to remain in a particular channel for longer than you usually do, perhaps?
Well, understand that the idea of how fluid we can be is one of the areas that your consciousness as an individual and as a collective needs to raise higher to be able to handle that we could instantly transform our form from 34 to 15 before your very eyes, and to do so in a way that wouldn't cause you to, in a sense, malfunction, or in that sense to pass out, to faint in that sense, to feel frightened of. So it is something that we understand we would be most beneficial to interact with you to maintain a particular set age, all the while knowing that our understanding could change to different age, and that understanding, that frequency of consciousness and knowingness could impact you as well. Even if we do hold the same physical age, our knowingness of how to, and that we can change to a different age, that frequency of that knowingness could be something that could impact one or many of you detrimentally. That is part of why we don't just suddenly appear in our crafts all of a sudden. It can be too much of a shock to the system of your earth human mental, psychological makeup at this current vibrational timing in your world.
Right, exactly. Just by you telling us those informations, I mean, we can already have a headache.
Very well.
Because
away.
It is too much.
Ache away until the ache is gone completely. And you know who you are, the infinite, unconditional love. Pain-free, no heartache and no headaches ever again for you.
And you also said before, when we start having beliefs that are more in alignment with our actual nature, how do we go about having those beliefs, and what are they exactly?
To define yourself as the infinite, to define yourself as the creator, to define yourself as the one that is the all, expressing yourself as a part of the all, but yet the one that is the all that are the one that is the all. Define yourself as that. And thus also define yourself as what you put out is what you get back. These are very simple definitions. They may not seem very important or potent or powerful, but they are. When you define yourself in these ways, you're defining yourself in alignment with your actual nature. And that will then vibrationally begin to bring up to the surface belief systems you have that are not in alignment with your actual nature, not in alignment with those definitions. And that gives you the opportunity to recognize them and to clear them out, to heal them back into the understanding that is in alignment with your actual nature. You are the infinite. You are unconditional love. You exist. You always have existed. You always will exist. For existence can only exist. That's the only quality that existence has, is to exist, to exist, to exist, to exist. That which does not exist does not exist. By definition, it does not exist. Non-existence does not exist. You can create and talk about it as though it does, but it only exists as something that doesn't actually exist in the sense of what it actually is. Non-existence does not exist. Wow. You can create the concept of non-existence, but you cannot ever be non-existing. That which exists only knows how to exist. That which does not exist does not exist. And thus you, as someone who exists, cannot be that which does not exist, which would be non-existence. Therefore you exist, and you always will exist. You can change the way and the shape and the form and the patternings of how you experience existing. Through what you put out is what you get back. Third law of creation. But however you experience yourself existing, you are part of the one, which is existing, which is existence. Existence is the one, unconditional love. Existence is the one that exists. Anything that exists, whether it's a thought that exists that you are having, an emotion that you are having that exists, an action that you are taking, that it exists. It all exists. Existence is the one quality that all of these things have. They all exist, and they all change. But that they exist in some way, shape, or form never changes, because they are all existence, and existence can only exist. It cannot not exist, because non-existence does not exist. It doesn't exist. So,
right.
You always exist, always have in some way, and always will in some way. The way you choose by what you put out is what you get back. And so the more you define yourself in these ways, the more you get back experiences that are in resonance with this. And those experiences contain information that inform you more so of what to do, what actions to take to be more in alignment with your heart, more feeling of your heart nature, more experiencing of the unconditional love that allows you to be friction-free, fight-free, and instead you will become fun-filled. You will be joyful. You will be ecstatic, full of ecstasy, in that sense, the sea of love, sea of ecstasy, full of love. That then comes from simply defining yourself in alignment with your actual nature in all moments. You can become aware of anytime something seems to feel bad or discordant or upsetting or frustrating. Recognize that is not in alignment with your actual nature of unconditional love and accepting this, unconditionally accepting all things. So, anytime you feel out of sorts, in that sense, frustrated or anger or sad or depressed or discontent, let that be a signal to let you know that in that circumstance, in that moment, to feel that way, you must be defining yourself in a way that's out of alignment with your actual nature, your actual infinite creatorship nature. That then you can ask your inner heart, your higher self, to let you know what limited definition of yourself or limited belief or definition of yourself you must have in order to begin feeling frustrated or feeling sad or feeling discontent or feeling frightened or feeling like fighting. You can then begin to listen and receive the information of what the limited belief is that you've had of yourself in that circumstance. That's one idea. A second idea is you can simply, when you feel out of sorts, when you feel frustrated or like fighting or friction or sad or hopeless or depressed, you can simply recognize that it is an illusion, that isn't in alignment with your actual nature, and ask your inner heart, your higher mind, to simply flow healing of understanding of your actual nature through you. That will heal the limited belief that's creating the discordant feeling, the sadness or the depression or the friction or the frustration or the stress, so on and so forth, whatever it may be in that moment for you. You can ask your heart to flow healing energy through that limited belief and realign it with the understanding that all is actually unconditional love. That begins to heal you. Those limited beliefs begin to understand how they got separated from their actual nature in the first place. You can think of it as an analogy, as if you all were birthed into this world like a whole glass. Upon birth, it broke upon the floor, and many beliefs go scattering about like shattering pieces of glass on the floor, each one being a discordant belief that you were taught as you grow up in your lifetime. And then each moment when you feel sad or discordant, you can think of it being like you're stepping on one of those shards of glass, one of those limited beliefs, beliefs that's the idea that you are separate, or that you are limited, or that you are not good enough, or that you will never measure up, or that someone else is bad, or that they are trouble, or they aren't good enough. All of those limited beliefs that don't acknowledge that everything simply is, and thus then all is equal unto itself from its actual nature of existing as unconditional love. When you feel pain. Perhaps understanding the analogy is as though you have stepped on a shard of glass and ouch, it hurts. You can invite it in from the heart to be healed in that sense, to bring that shard of glass back into the whole place before the glass crashed and broke and shattered into many individual splintered belief systems that forgot their actual nature in a sense, that got disconnected from the whole glass, the whole understanding of your true nature. So those are a few ways you can work with, and we know that they will work for you, so it is up to you to choose to work with them. The more you do, then thus, because what you put out is what you get back, the more you will get back experiences of them working for you. And the more you do this, the fewer shattered pieces of glass there are remaining, in the sense that fewer beliefs based in limitation there are remaining in your psychology. And over time, they are all healed. They all come back into enlightenment, to the awareness of who they actually are, their connection to the infinite unconditional love. And in that sense, the glass is no longer broken. There are no more shattered pieces upon the floor. It is whole. You are whole. You are functioning from your whole state of beingness. Your heart, mind, your physical brain, and your physical ego mind, all working together in that sense. Another way you can do this is to simply, with your ego mental mind, choose to follow your heart's enjoyable suggestions as to what action to take throughout your day, every day, throughout your life. Follow your heart in that sense. And the more you do this, the more you begin to be in resonance with your heart, walking in a sense side by side with your heart, hand in hand, one being together, whole you become with your heart, as your heart, in your heart, experiencing life physically through your mental ego mind, from your heart's joyous imaginings, conceptualizations for you of the life in each moment that is most meaningful, most enjoyable for you. Yeah, so those are a few ideas. You can work with them if you choose. The more you do, the more you will become informed of what steps to take next.
I see. Wow. They seem to be very sharp, very good, huh? Wow.
Yes, certainly.
Do you all function that way easily, I guess? It's just natural for you.
We are born in this understanding of our actual nature. And all those who raise us as we are young ones, they understand this. They are examples of this. They live this. So it is very easy for us to grow up, to maintain this understanding, to live with it, to express it, to behave, to experience this understanding. And then thus, this is a way of life for us that is very strong, very obvious, very clear to us, is at no time foggy, is at no time something we lose sight of, is at no time something that gets away from us. We are always in tune with this understanding very clearly. Thank you for the question.
Hey, Aishwa.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the sir. Aisha, that makes me think that, well, that directs me to think that you guys have no need for religion in your planet.
There is the idea of understanding of our relationship to the Creator. In that sense, we do not need to create limitations, beliefs based on limitation, beliefs that suggest our Creator is something outside of us. That is something your world has chosen to explore, the idea that your Creator is something outside of you. And so in order to hold on to that limited, illusory belief and continue exploring more illusory, limited ideas, you have to create more limited belief systems. And in order to hold on to them and maintain them, in order for them not to get away from you in the presence of your actual infinite beingness, you have to then go over these beliefs based in limitation again and again, religiously, like a ceremonial, weekly meeting in which you pray again and read again verses that are based on limitation, that state you are separate from your Creator. You have to do that again and again, ceremoniously, in meetings, in groups, religiously, in order to keep putting out, and you keep putting that out in order to keep getting back experiences that you are limited, illusory experiences that you are separate from your Creator. They are illusory because they are not in alignment with your actual connection as the Creator, as the infinite, simply expressing yourself in a human form as a part of the infinite, as a part of the Creator. That then we do not need to continuously put out that we are the infinite, for being aware that we are the Creator and expressing ourselves as a part of the infinite in biological form is in alignment with the actual nature of the infinite, and thus then we are always putting out that which is in alignment with the actual nature of existence, and thus getting back experiences that are in alignment with the actual nature of beingness. And that does not require us to religiously put out any other beliefs, to have ceremonies around our actual nature. It is automatically built in because it is a component of our actual nature. It is always an understanding that informs us because it is in resonance with our beliefs. It is in resonance with our actual nature, and we define ourselves in this way. Do you follow that distinction?
Sure. Do you see us going down that path?
We see you choosing to let go of the beliefs based in limitation. We see you choosing and asking and finding help, finding the understanding. And more of you are letting go of the old beliefs that suggested your Creator was something separate from you. More of you are realizing that you are an infinite Creator, that you are all one and the same infinite one Creator, expressing yourself as parts of the one Creator. And in that, more of you are choosing to be compassionate to all expressions of life, all people, because you know they are simply you from another perspective, and you are choosing to be loving and compassionate towards yourself in all of those other forms that seem to be other people, other life forms. You are choosing to love yourself in all of these other forms, knowing that by doing that you are loving your infinite beingness. Yes, so you are choosing to awaken to this, and that is one of the things we are helping you remember your actual nature. And in that then you will not need to have religions as you have them now. You will not need to meet on a weekly basis or a daily basis or a monthly basis to put out beliefs that are then going to bring back to you beliefs that reflect illusions, that reflect beliefs based in limitation. You will not need to do that anymore because you will no longer want to experience beliefs based in limitation. You will no longer want to experience a life separate from the idea of being one with your Creator. You will instead want to recognize, to feel, to experience being one with the Creator as the Creator. Thus then again, as we said, we don't, and so you won't have to religiously put out these new beliefs that are in alignment with your actual nature as the infinite, as the Creator. Thus then, religions as you know them today that continuously put out beliefs based in limitation will no longer serve your function. And you will choose from your heart easily and effortlessly to let go of putting out the beliefs that are based on limitation. And this choice then will also be to move away from the idea that there is any religion that is greater than any other religion. You will not have any interest in religions at all, and you will all be perfectly okay with that. You will all choose from your heart to move away from all forms of religion entirely, for you will understand they do not serve you in the ways that they were, for they have only been serving you as ways to create more separation, to keep you in a sense in an 8-track loop, putting out that you are separate, that your creator is somewhere out there, and thus getting back experiences that you are separate and that your creator is somewhere out there. And this then you will no longer do by choice, all of you, from your heart.
I see. Wow. There are so many questions. I mean, and we don't have that much time. So let's talk about dates just a little. We've heard that by 2017, we are going to start to remember the encounters we've had that were erased from our memories. And then that on 2033, we are going to be already part of the Interstellar Alliance. Can you speak a little on those dates, and when is it perhaps that we are going to meet your civilization, perhaps peacefully in an open public contact?
There are dates that we have heard from others, not necessarily from my voice
Right.
that have been shared, but some others, perhaps other civilizations. The idea then, specific dates I do not bring forth. There are many fluctuations and variations that can alter as you perceive a date on a schedule, on a calendar in your timeline. So I will not in that sense provide a specific date. But the idea then that you will, more of you, for there are some of you who have memories of contacts, but the idea that more and more and more of you remembering contacts that so many of you have actually had with us and other extraterrestrial civilizations, those memories will begin to be realized by more of you by the next few years. Yes, that has to do more with your vibrational increase consciously to a vibration that more matches the dimension of the frequency in which you have had those contacts take place upon.
Wow.
For again, it isn't so much that we did anything to erase your memory. There are some occasions where certain instances and interactions we do a little bit like an erasure of memory, but most of it is simply because you have those interactions with us on such a high frequency that when you go back into your day-to-day world on Earth, that frequency is so low, the two do not match. But as your frequency as a collective raises, it begins to match the vibrational frequency of which you have had those interactions take place upon, which allows for those interactions to flow through your awareness like memory. Thus then more of you, as your world reaches this higher vibration, will begin in a sense to suddenly remember having had these interactions with us. But it isn't so much remembering as you will simply be again at that higher frequency, matching the frequency in which you have had those interactions with us in the first place. So it isn't as if we are going to suddenly start implanting the memories of the interactions you had with us back into your mind around these times, your near future. It is more that your frequency will raise high enough to match the circumstances and dimensionalities you were on when you had the interactions with us to begin with. Do you follow that idea?
Yes, sure.
Yes. There are a multitude of changes coming forward.
Right.
There is most likely in your current year a event that will occur, and it will be more of a cosmic event, more of an event of the infinite in a sense, not of our doing, not of the grouping of the association of worlds or other life forms off of Earth doing this for you to experience. Although we are all a part of it, it isn't something we will be doing in the way we fly over a city and show our lights at night in a visual contact. We do that, but this is more of a cosmic event, more of an infinite event, more cosmic, that will occur this year of your time. This is something that will be most enjoyable, and it will be quite new for those of you upon your world, we will find it to be exciting in a sense to experience how you experience, how it unfolds for you in your world. We look forward to it. It will be very much an event for us as well. And so, again, it is a bit like a cosmic event of a joyous quality. Fear not. Again, it will be of a joyous quality. You can be neutral about this, or you can look forward to it with excitement. The idea that there will be some joyous cosmic event. You have the choice. Do with that as you may.
Sure. No, but like when, as far as probability goes, when are we going to meet with the Yahyel Society?
That will be soon.
But like in decades?
Yes, perhaps sooner, but perhaps later. It can only occur when the vibrations are of a match sufficiently. And there are so many variables involved. You play a part in those variables, so it isn't all in that sense in our hands. It isn't as if we can just say we'll show up on a particular corner, on a particular city, on a particular day and time. Now, there are a multitude of frequencies that are involved in this. And because they can change dramatically, if we were to give you a specific day and time, and then suddenly the frequencies of that reality change sufficiently enough that we cannot be there, that would be rather discouraging to you, would it not?
Right.
So we do not want to be the purveyors of that type of discouragement.
I know.
We know that it can fluctuate. While we might see 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 dates as being more probable, that isn't then something we even want to forecast. That, for those, can change as well. And often in your world, if you hear something suggested as being a probable date of contact, somehow it gets translated, it gets passed around in the, if you will, the world of the wireless communications, into a statement that says, oh, they said they'd definitely be here on such and such day and time, when we only said it was a probability or a possibility. And then when it doesn't occur, there are those who are discouraged, who feel let down. Some feel very betrayed. And this is then something we understand. Your world isn't quite at a place yet psychologically to work through this in a way that would be more conducive to positive growth in the direction that we feel and that we sense you desire as a whole society.
Okay, so it will certainly be still in my lifetime.
Most probable, yes.
All right. Now, I understand that our planet was in a quarantine.
There was the idea, there are a group of extraterrestrial civilizations that are connected to you in various ways, chose to not have contact with you in obvious ways that would reveal our presence to you, in order that you could play out a particular choice, particular pattern of experiencing on your world, a realm, a theater, if you will, in which there was the perception, the illusion that there was only Earth human life forms in the universe. In order for you to have that experience, it was necessary for those of us who are obviously not from your planet to not be present. That was one of the reasons we chose not to interfere in that sense. So the quarantine, in a sense, was upon us, by us, not to interact with you in obvious ways. That then is something chosen by a association of worlds, of extraterrestrial civilizations. That then is a civilization, a grouping that is very open, very free to come and go, each civilization in the association of worlds as it chooses, as it pleases. And understand there are a multitude of extraterrestrial civilization passing through your Earth, passing by your civilization, passing through your solar system, passing through your galaxy. They sometimes have opportunities to have contact with you that necessarily not in agreement or even aware of our quarantine, our association of worlds. That then, in a sense, sometimes some extraterrestrials have momentarily gotten through that idea of quarantine. There are as well some that are, in a sense, extraterrestrial, that are upon your planet. They are part of your genetic makeup. They are a part of your earth life format experience. But they play a different part. And for most of you, they are not in your awareness at this timing. They are then two types primarily, as we have spoken of them before. There are the ATs, not ETs, but ATs and OTs. ET being extraterrestrial, T being terrestrial of Earth, extraterrestrial, extra simply meaning not born on Earth, extraterrestrial. Terrestrial suggesting, and how we are defining this in this moment, as being born on Earth. There are those who are OT, organic terrestrial, and there are those who are AT, alien terrestrial. The alien terrestrial, ATs, are actually more extraterrestrial in origin, but they also have terrestrial origin. More extraterrestrial than you have. For understand, all Earth humans born on Earth have an extraterrestrial origin before embodying upon Earth.
Oh, I see.
The AT, alien terrestrials, came to this planet after the planet was formed. They came to Earth after Earth was already capable of sustaining human biological life form. However, you do not know they exist in a sense as a collective consciousness. Some of you are aware of them, and so we refer to them as alien terrestrials. They do not think of themselves in this way, but they are alien to you. They are terrestrial life forms that you don't know of as a collective. And so in that sense, they are alien to you as a Earth human collective.
I see.
They play a part in your world. They have genetic DNA that is part of your DNA. They are part of your civilization's upbringing, and they are part of the awakening process that is taking place in your world in this timing. There are as well the OTs, organic terrestrials. These are life forms that were present in the origination of planet Earth. They have been present since the inception of planet Earth. They have not left. They are still present. They are terrestrial, organic, originating terrestrials. Organic, originating terrestrials. They are very intelligent beings, life forms. They are not as alien. You may not know of them, but they are present in your life each day in more apparent ways than the alien terrestrials. The alien terrestrials are more of a human form, and they then simply exist in a world, upon your world, that you do not see very often. And so in a sense, it is as though they are hidden at this timing. The organic terrestrials are more interdimensional, multidimensional, less physical in terms of how you think and define a physical body. They have physical form, but it is of a more flexible, higher frequency than you define and perceive your physical body. They then, again, due to the flexible, variable, vibratory nature of their physical structure, they are able and they are present in your life every day in various ways, and thus they are not alien in this sense. They are very present. They are organic in your nature, in your beingness. Organic terrestrials are present in all of your lives, in every moment of your lives. They have been with this planet since its inception. They have not left. They will remain throughout its entire lifetime. Gaia, a name given to your Earth, is very aware of organic terrestrials. They have a relationship. And each of you can begin to learn more of the nature of this relationship. Realize it more, feel it more, and it will be very nurturing. It will connect you more to the planet itself, and in thus doing that, connect you more to the sun itself, and in doing that, more to the other planets in your solar system. And in doing that, connect you more to other solar systems within your region of the galactic quality of life expressing itself in physical form. And in doing that, it will begin to allow your vibrations to raise higher, that we then are more in a match to you, and thus then have the opportunity to connect to you someday upon your planet's surface. Does that give you more of an answer, more information to work with?
It certainly does. The only thing is, Aisha, that some people that are listening, they might be frightened about the AT, the alien terrestrials. Yes. Are they of what nature?
They are a humanoid form. They do appear different than those in your life, everyday life activities. However, you do not need to fear them. They are occasionally spoken of in some of your myths. And thus then they were real, and they are the source of some of the stories of your fables and your ancient writings. They may be misunderstood. They may be frightened. That is something in time as you come to understand you are the one that is the all in all, expressions of the infinite, that your life on earth are expressions of you, and you do not need to fear them. For to do so, to put out that fear, is only to fear yourself, only to get back experiences of fear in yourself, which will manifest itself as other people or other creatures that you think you need to be frightened of. Then the more you are free of fearing anything, because you recognize all it is you, the easier it is then when you are able to begin to be ready to have contact with alien terrestrials. You will begin to recognize they aren't so alien after all, and you will simply understand they are another expression of you, of the infinite, and you will be able to love and be compassionate for them, and they thus for you as well, and there will be more harmony in the ability to meet one another easily and learn from one another in obviously constructive, positive ways. Positive in the sense of a bringing together of ways of existing, coexisting harmoniously with one another, enjoyably with one another. Yes.
Awesome.
So do not fear that. Have no fear. If you fear or aware of any fear at any time, understand you must have a definition within you in that idea you are fearing in order to have the fear. You must have a definition that's out of alignment with your actual nature in order to have the fear in the first place. So let any and all fear be like a knock at the door, letting you know in that circumstance you have a belief that's out of alignment with your actual nature, or you wouldn't be frightened to begin with. And then when you get in touch with what the fear is, it'll be some belief that's alien in terms of it's not resonant with your actual nature. You will be free of the fear, free of the alien belief, free of the belief that is alien to your actual nature. You will replace it with an understanding that resonates with your actual nature. And thus then you will not have an alien belief. You will be fear-free, and you will not be frightened in that way. Fear is a product of your own imagination, your own creation, and it can inform you that you have a belief that's out of alignment with your actual unconditionally loving, fearless nature. Fear, entirely fear-free actual nature. So, any and all fear, let it be for you an indication you have some definition, some belief that's out of alignment with your actual nature. When you are in alignment with all the beliefs that you put out, in alignment with the actual nature of existence, you will thus then get back experiences that are in alignment with the actual nature of existence. And in that there is no fear. You will thus then be free of fear on all levels. Every day, throughout every day, and even at night when the lights are turned out.
All right. So Aisha, just before we go,
yes.
two questions I can't miss. You know, we are at the Milky Way galaxy. This is how we define it. What galaxy are you?
I also them of Milky Way galaxy on both planets of Yahyel civilization.
All right.
Origination.
All right. Thanks.
Yes.
And is that possible to say the constellation?
Not at this timing.
All right. We perhaps don't know. Okay. So the last question is, how do you communicate through the channeler to me?
I push a button on the sound mixer and I turn up the volume until the lights are almost red, and I speak into the microphone, and then he plugs in to the sound mixer, and the sound goes from my microphone into his microphone, and from his microphone he plugs into your mixer on your soundboard, and it comes out your speaker, and then you speak in your microphone, and that's plugged into his mixer, which is plugged into my mixer, and I hear you. And in this way, the conduit of information, of consciousness, is able to flow from me, through him, to you, from you to him, through him to me, in this way, but without the actual technology that you would think of as a soundboard. It flows instead through the channels of consciousness itself that are of a dimensional conduit that carries the frequency in this way, because it simply is designed to do that. It chooses to serve in that way. Conscious life forms choose to form in a sense like a cable, a microphone cable, and they flow consciousness from me to the channel to you, that we can have this experience at all in that way. And in your world, you have a symbol that forms and serves this capacity. You think of it as a microphone cable, a speaker cable. In that sense, they are simply conduits of consciousness. There are then, for everything I am sharing, life forms that are fashioned, designed specifically to move communications from me to the channel, through the channel to you, and that then you to us in the same fashion. So it may seem rather vacuous, but we assure you it is very real, and it is another way that the infinite is expressing itself, another way that life manifests as channels of communication, conduits, cables without, in a sense, the cabling. They are forms of life as well. Yes, do you follow that idea?
I do. And how far are you right now from me? I mean, are you on your craft?
I am standing 2 feet behind you.
All right. Yeah. No, seriously.
3 feet behind you.
Okay, now I believe
Okay,
you.
I'm in the next room.
What?
I am approximately 437 miles above the island in Hawaii known as Kauai.
Right. And are you in your craft?
Yes, it is a craft with a number of civilizations present. It is a very large craft, not like the ones that are generally used that are more triangular in shape, that fly over cities and make visual contacts with those in your world. This is different in nature, different in size, different in function. And the mileage, the distance above the island fluctuates as well.
Wow.
It can go up,
Okay,
it can get closer, it can get farther. It varies.
Right. And you can go invisible because you are in a different vibrational frequency.
That is a possibility, yes.
I see. So basically, nobody can see it right now.
This, in a sense, vibrationally would be invisible from your instrumentations that you have on your planet.
Fantastic. Okay, so would you like to give us a last message, please?
We thank you for the opportunity to share with you in this way experiences of our world with yours. In this way, together we can build a whole new third reality that is of a similar enough vibration that one day we can meet with you in your world in an open contact, public, peaceful, heart to heart, eye to eye, in that sense, building a relationship in presence with one another, expanding the opportunities that are infinite, that are limitless, unlimited opportunities to be with you and you with us and other extraterrestrial civilizations, that we can together explore new worlds that are present upon your planet and that are present upon planets and other solar systems as well. For understand, within the heart of all there is infinite realms of riches and joyful, nourishing, vitally uplifting experiences available to have unfold in your day, day by day, moment by moment, without end, but always full of fun and meaningfulness and joyousness. Yes, so it is with our heart as a whole sharing in this moment. Great joy, much love we have. It is a fantastic experience to be unfolding together with you in your world in this way. And in the days to come, there will be more from others, more from me, more from those on your world, exploring and discovering those of our world. More discovering of life, the infinite unconditional love that we all truly are. Fascinating, fun, feel moments. Thank you, dear one, and good day.
Good day to you, Aishwa. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Much play in every day.
how we go?
Sean, welcome back.
Okay.
Hey, in the end of these dialogues, I usually ask the channeler how he or she is feeling as a result of the channeling. Would you share with us?
Feels good.
It seems you just came back from a good dream.
Yeah, but I'm still in it.
Right. Come back, Sean. Come back. All right.
Well, it's very blissful, enjoyable, feels very appropriate. Yeah.
So, where were you exactly while I was talking to Aishwa?
I was right here, right?
I know, right? But like your consciousness.
Oh, well, I step aside a little bit
Right.
and allow for an expanded state to flow through me.
I see.
Oh. Suppose it's a little bit like I went into a dream state and experienced other communications going on as though I was having a dream about it.
Oh, I see.
Dreamy quality. And so if you were to start talking to me about things that were said, it would be like as if I was waking up in the morning and a dream that I had at night. I started to remember and recollect more of what the dream was about, simply by you talking to me and describing what was said. That would occur.
Oh.
Yes.
Understood. Wow, man. Look, I have to thank you very much for the opportunity and for, allowing us to talk to Aishwa through you. It was just amazing. Seriously.
Well, thank you. It's much fun for me too, so I enjoy the opportunity.
Oh, joy. And today is a special date for this work of dialogue with the spirits, because it's the dialogue number 100.
Dialogue with the Spirits number 100 with Jefferson Viscardi. July 10th, 2013.
And Aishwa from the Yahyel Society.
Who I was channeling, and my name is Sean Swanson.
Yay! Yes, so that was just fantastic. So yeah, man, thank you very much. And I guess it was just fantastic.
Oh, good. All right. Well, I'll see you. I'll stay with you actually, but I'll turn the camera off.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye for now.